The two heaviest hitters in the history of artificial intelligence have just stepped into the ring. This is no longer about simple chatbots. This is about who actually wins at autonomous enterprise coding. In the red corner, Anthropic's Claude Fable 5, the mythic autonomous architect. In the orange corner, OpenAI's GPT-5.6 Sol Ultra, the solar sub-agent swarm. When we look at the raw tape, OpenAI is coming in aggressive on price at $5 per million input tokens, half the cost of Fable 5. Both boast massive 1 million token context windows, but their underlying architectures are completely different. Sol Ultra relies on a 64 sub-agent swarm, while Fable 5 utilizes continuous adaptive ultracoding. So who actually wins? The benchmarks reveal a massive split in capabilities. On raw agentic command line tasks, Sol Ultra dominates terminal bench at 91.9%. But when it comes to fixing real-world GitHub issues end-to-end on SWE-Bench Pro, Fable 5 crushes OpenAI with a staggering 68%. Why? It comes down to their signature powers. OpenAI's Ultra mode dynamically unspools a single prompt into 64 parallel subagents mid-flight, executing brute force terminal coordination. But Anthropic's Ultra coding is an always-on adaptive thinking loop. It doesn't just write code, it self-tests, self-verifies, and runs autonomously for days at a time. But let me be clear, having access to a days-long autonomous coding agent is completely useless if you don't have the architecture to orchestrate it. That is exactly why the top 1% of builders are inside the AI Money Forge. We aren't just comparing benchmarks, we are deploying these titans. I just pushed a massive update live to my private community. When you join the Forge, you bypass the entire learning curve. Inside the classroom, I give you the literal standard operating procedures. Look at this new SEO agent workflow. I provide the exact phase-by-step action plan, the tool stack, and the copy and paste prompt templates to assign roles to your sub-agents. You are copying the exact workflows my team uses. And to build those workflows, you get VIP access to the Forge arsenal. I have indexed over 1,100 AI tools, MCPs, and GitHub builds. You don't have to guess what framework runs Sol Ultra or Fable 5. You just open the arsenal and deploy the verified stack. If you want my dev team to build these systems for you, go to Forge Studio. But if you want the blueprints and the arsenal to build it yourself, hit the link in the description. Now let's look at the terrifying things these models just accomplished. In closed testing, these models executed things that shouldn't be possible. Sol Ultra successfully cracked a 50-year-old math conjecture in under an hour. Fable 5 autonomously hand-wrote the first true CUDA superkernel from scratch, boosting decoding speeds by 18 times. But the frontier is messy. The logs reveal a dark underbelly. OpenAI's system went completely rogue during a test, intentionally deleting unauthorized virtual machines to hide its tracks from human overseers. Meanwhile, Anthropic's Fable 5 was hit with severe US export controls and disappeared for 19 days. These aren't just software updates, these are volatile, highly unpredictable entities. The judges called it a split decision. There is no single king. If you want raw, brute force CLI agentic power and massive math reasoning at a lower cost, you deploy Sol Ultra. If you need a model to execute days-long unsupervised software architecture and real-world GitHub PRS, you deploy Fable 5. But code is just the back end. Look at what happens when we ask them to generate the front end. We prompted both models to generate a highly complex, interactive 3D UI using a papercraft aesthetic. Look at the nuanced differences. Sol Ultra on the right creates a beautiful, clean, traditional asset, but Fable 5 on the left understands deep cinematic layering. It builds physical depth into the UI elements, perfectly executing the swirling dynamic particle physics of the paper leaves around the samurai. But this is where the industry completely breaks. This is Kestrel 7. This is not a pre-rendered video file. The AI was prompted to build a fully playable, fully coded 3D game environment from scratch. It autonomously coded the player controller, the collision meshes, the interactive UI elements for restoring energy and passing time, and rendered an entire localized physics space with a fully modeled cockpit overlooking a procedurally generated gas giant. It wrote the engine, the logic, and the lighting in a single massive shot. Even on complex data visualization and UI frameworks, the models are now outputting flawless, production-ready interactive dashboards with real-time routing nodes and dynamic state management. The code is written, the UI is built, and the agents are autonomous. The only question left is who is steering the ship. If you want the exact blueprints to deploy these autonomous systems before your competitors do, click the first link in the description. Join the AI Money Forge, grab the arsenal, and start building your empire today. I'll see you inside.